Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's Steve Bates at the BIA introducing Getting the Most from Bio Boston 2018 webinar. I'm fortunate enough, if you don't know me, that's me, to be joined on the line by Cara Nelson from Bio in the US. Say hello, Cara.
Hi there, everyone.
Welcome. Chris Thomas from the Department of International Trade in London. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everyone. I've managed to join at last.
Well done. And Tori was also from the Department of International Trade, again in the East Coast in Boston, Massachusetts. Hi, Tori.
Hi there.
So I hope in the next few minutes we'll be able to take you through some of the key activities that the UK are doing at Bio this year in Boston. We've got some local on-the-ground knowledge from the DIT team, and Cara will give us an overview of the Bio big picture, particularly also for people who've never been before. So with no further ado, I'm going to dive in to a perspective on Bio for Brits and for UK companies, which I hope will work both for returners and for those who are going for the first time. So I'm going to start with what is it? So I think for those of you who've been to other conferences, I always think that Bio is a big conference. And in one respect, it's 5 things going on at the same time. A significant partnering conference, and I'll leave Cara to talk about the world record attempt at partnering, which is at the event this year. A significant exhibition, and confusingly, some of the partnering takes place on the exhibition stands as well as in the partnering booths. Seminars, company presentations, and significant socials and parties. So there's far too much for somebody to do. 20,000 attendees, loads of tracks of things. So you have to prioritize and plan in advance to get the most out of the event. And that's what I hope we can do with a UK flavor for you in this webinar. So I've got a couple of slides as to what's going on from the UK's perspective. And for those who've been to Bio before, the day that Bio starts has moved around a bit in recent years. But the way that you should think about it this year is that partnering opens at lunchtime on Monday, 12:30 on Monday, and the exhibition is open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this year. So I think people will travel to be around. Most Brits will travel in to be there Sunday evening on the Sunday flights. Be around Monday. Monday morning is there's not a formal open partnering session. And things are closing off certainly by 4:30 on Thursday, and most people will travel Thursday evening out, if not before. This is just a quick snapshot of a couple of things that are going on from a UK perspective. So on the Sunday, we'll have a welcome drinks for the UK delegation, and Dick colleagues will tell us where we're going to get together, I hope, later on. And then on Monday, there's some things in partner. I'm going to take you through in detail, but some morning sidebar events, partnering open in the from lunchtime, and the welcome reception, the main welcome reception for Bio in the evening, with Cambridge UK and One Nucleus also having a drinks at the Consul General's residence on the Monday evening. On the Tuesday, from a UK perspective, partnering meetings in the partnering forum, in the business forum, run from 7 in the morning to 5:30. The exhibition hall is open from 10, so there's a sort of difference in those times depending on where you're partnering, and that runs through till to 5 o'clock, really, when there's the reception on the stand. For those of you who are used to this, drinks on the stand at 5 o'clock, and the BIA, AZ and DIT innovation reception Tuesday evening between 6 and 8 is also something I'll come back to. Again, Wednesday partnering is 7 till 5:30 in the partnering area, exhibition 10 till 5:30, and a couple of panels with the closing reception on Thursday, again 7 to 4:30, the closing reception for the international reception early afternoon, 1:45 to 2:45, being the key parts, I think, from a UK perspective. So if you're going to mark your card for a few bits from a UK perspective, those are the ones, and I'm just going to take you through those. A couple of top tips for those of you who've not been. It's important to have the right pass to do the right type of partnering, and you may want to check which ones you're doing. open up your schedule in partnering carefully, because the system will allocate your slots at the close of Thursday first and work backwards. You may want to close down parts, particularly if you're traveling, so that you get your meetings in the time where you want them to do. Just close out your partnering times against the ones where you don't want to be partnering, for instance, during some of the receptions you may want to go to. You'll need to stick to time, and knowing the geography of the booths and stands can be important at BIO, because it can be a big event, particularly if you end up accepting meetings on stands and in the booths, and you've got to run between one and the other. And this is really, I think, one of the 5 reasons. I think it's the main reason why company members of the BIA attend. I'm going to run through a couple of highlights from the BIA activities, so you've got an understanding of what they are. On Monday morning, between 8 and 11, there's going to be a NHS at 70 Opportunities and Challenges breakfast hosted by the Northern Health Science Alliance and sponsored by Department of International Trade. That's at Wolf, Greenfield and Sachs, so I know there'll be a lot of Brits there. And on the Tuesday, there is an on-stand reception at the UK Pavilion, which will be an informal gathering. The Department of International Trade and Partners, Invest Northern Ireland, Northern Powerhouse, MPH, and the Midlands Engine will be supporting that. And then also on Tuesday morning, there is at CIC in Cambridge, there's a MedCity are hosting a genomics roundtable with Londoners and partners and the Bioindustry Association to discuss genomics. The sign up is here on the slide, and an informal event really, but with a focus on genomics. So you can see there's quite a lot of fringe events, if you like, to the main conference, which the Brits are doing, and you might find colleagues there. Likewise, BIA members Phil Fisher have told us they're also doing an event Tuesday morning at the Westin Boston waterfront on the International Legal Framework, top practical tips from an international panel, which if you're not doing genomics, you may find that more to your flavour. So again, fringe events that won't be in the bio programme, which the UK community are putting on, that is worth having on your programme. This is a map of the bio convention floor, which I know others will talk to later, but I've just ringed 3 important areas. So you can see I've put where the UK stand is this year, slap bang in the middle of the floor, so halfway between the entrance and the business forum as you go into the Boston Convention Centre. The dark blue circle, smaller circle, is the Scottish stand. So in my ignorance, I still think of Scotland being part of the UK. United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is the way that I was brought up to talk about the United Kingdom. So Scotland's in the UK for me, but here we have a separate stand in dark blue, and that's where the Scots are, right next to the UK, slightly south on this map rather than north. And for those of you who like to think of the UK as part of the European Union, and we still are this year, I've put on the European Union stand as well. So if you're feeling particularly desirous to stay as one with our European colleagues, the European Union stand is here also marked. I think you'll have to go down past the Belgians towards the Chinese to see our colleagues from across the continent. The main thing that the BIA is putting its firepower behind with the support of Department of International Trade and AstraZeneca is a networking reception Tuesday evening, 6 till 8, at this rather swanky bar, which I'm told is the type of place that one goes to in waterfront Boston. We're looking forward to seeing people there. We have invited BIA members that we are aware that are coming, and if you are interested, we're quite full, but do contact us post this webinar if you're interested in coming. I'm making no promises, but we're keen to make sure that all BIA members who are in Boston are able to come, and we will do our best to get you in. I talked at the beginning about there being a partnering conference. I've talked about parties. I also say that there are a number of presentations and speaking tracks. We've gone through the rather comprehensive list and dragged out those people we are aware of from our network. This is not a comprehensive list, but ones that we recognised on a first run through as to various panels that Brits and people in the BIA community are speaking on. I'm speaking on AMR on the Monday. Steve Bagshaw on gene therapy on the Tuesday. Summit doing breakthrough business models from Global Gene Corps again on Tuesday afternoon. A great panel on the value of addressing AMR on the Wednesday morning with Ian Greer and colleagues, and Kate Bingham, well known to the BIA as a Lifetime Achievement Award winner, speaking on a Scientific American Worldview panel on Thursday lunchtime, the big closeout international panel on biotechnology's promise in a changing landscape. So if you want to see some Brits or some people on panels, these is good places to go. There's lots of this going on, but I thought I'd big up BIA members and others that we know who are speaking at BIO this year. A couple of bits on AMR. I've talked about I'm doing a panel on the Monday, and there is this value of addressing AMR panel on the Wednesday morning as well. So good representation of a key issue for the UK from UK Biotech at BIO. And of course, there are also a number of companies presenting. We don't think we've got to the definitive list of company presenting yet, but these were the ones that I was able to see in the first flush. There is a company's presentation track at BIO, and there were 3 Brits that we were able to spot in a first pass. Please let us know if your company is presenting, and we'll add this to the documentation that's available for Brits going. We think about 1,000 people from the UK are likely to travel for this conference out of about 20,000. So we're a significant presence. We're the largest overseas attendees, usually trumped by the Canadians in terms of international attendees. But hey, they've only really got to walk across a border. We have to get on an aeroplane. Unfair, of course, they fly too. Key UK attendees. It's great to see some high-profile attendees planning to attend this time round. And if you don't know, Rona Fairhead, the Minister of State for Trade and Export Promotion in the Department of International Trade. We hope, inshallah, with the whip and what's going on in the House of Lords, to be able to come to the conference, and it would be great to see her there. And James Palmer, the new Mayor of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, the combined authority there, is also travelling to BIO. So it would be great to have high impact representation from the UK at this year's conference. So I think next what I was going to do is hand over to Cara, who might want to take us through the global perspective of BIO, the conference. Cara.
Thanks, Steve. And I'm always so impressed by the level of detail you provide your delegation. You folks are definitely among, if not the most prepared. So we all appreciate that at BIO. So moving towards the first slide. So this year, we're very excited as it's BIO's 25th anniversary and our 25th anniversary to host the BIO International Convention, and where better than in Boston on June 4th through the 7th. So accordingly, our theme for this year is Make History, and you'll notice that theme sort of throughout the different new activities activities and programs we have at the convention. Moving towards the next slide, for those who may have sort of a wide scope of understanding of what BIO is, or if you have not attended before, this is sort of a snapshot of what BIO has looked like, at least last year in San Diego. So over 16,000, as Steve mentioned, attendees, and a truly global audience. We're expecting even more countries this year, over 74. And there are 4 primary pillars to BIO. So Steve mentioned, of course, our rich partnering system. That's BIO's one-on-one partnering matchmaking tool that many of our delegates find value in. Of course, our educational programming, networking, and our exhibition, of which the UK is participating across all 4 pillars, and we're happy to see that. Moving towards the next slide on education. So this year is one of our most robust years in terms of educational content. Our programs team here has told me we have almost 90 different tracks, educational tracks throughout BIO. And in particular, new tracks this year on corporate best practices and leadership, gene editing, very timely, One Health initiatives, as well as opioids and addiction policy. moving towards partnering on the next slide, as Steve mentioned, this is one of the largest aspects of the convention, and it's BIO's one-on-one partnering. Last year, we had over 40,000 meetings. We're expected to hit well over that this year with a larger attendee base. But to give scope and just maybe some tips, as Steve mentioned, you will want to set your calendar availability as open as possible to try and make sure that you can have as many meetings as possible throughout your time at BIO. Over the course of the 4 days, some individuals cap out at sometimes 20 meetings, even in a day. And so the capacity to meet is truly based on your own schedule. So wherever your priorities lie, whether it's in education or partnering, know that that is an option for you. So starting on the next slide, reviewing sort of the schedule of BIO by day, more generally, less UK specific, but more generally in terms of activity, partnering opens midday that day. There are a number of different programming available starting Monday while the exhibition floor is closed. So there is a China Summit, a One Health Day programming that is a half-day program looking to focus on very timely topics. In particular, we have a number of fireside chats open to convention access, education access level and above attendees. And of course, our Tribute to Biotech welcome reception, which is at the waterfront in Boston. Beautiful venue, and hopefully celebrating, hopefully collaborating with our international colleagues and celebrating all the success that we've had in these last quarter century, and then moving towards the future where biotech is going. Moving towards Tuesday, the day will begin, of course, with partnering and our BIO exhibition. After the exhibition opens, there will be a Tuesday keynote, and our Tuesday keynote is host of Good Morning America, as well as healthcare advocate Robin Roberts. And so for those with convention access and convention access partnering level badges, you folks will be able to attend that Tuesday keynote at the convention center. And so moving towards partnering, so on the partnering front this year, in terms of making history, we are very excited to announce that we'll be making an official Guinness World Record attempt at BIO, and everyone involved in a partnering system across all delegations will be a part of making history and a part of setting this world record, which we're very excited about as the world's largest business partnering event. So look forward to exciting celebrations on site on the exhibition floor concerning that. Then on Wednesday, our second.
How many do we have to get to? How many partnering events do we have to get to win the world record?
That is a good question. I believe it's over 40,000. And so as of right now, based on last year, we would have hit it. But, you know, they're very particular Guinness World Record, and we have to be very specific and official about our attempts. So hopefully we'll hit that this year. I think we will, but fingers crossed.
It's very important to us Brits because, of course, the world records, Guinness World Records, started in the UK with Norris McWhirter many years ago. So it's fabulous to see it having gone global, and we are fully committed to making sure that we become record breakers.
Well, there we go. You're history makers for sure. You folks already are, but continue to be that. So that's very exciting. So now moving towards, on Wednesday, so our keynote, Rob Reiner, is a director and activist focusing on drug abuse, addiction, and opioids. And so he'll be highlighting that in our keynotes as well as throughout our opioid and addiction track. And of course, we have our...
Cara, best known to Brits, Rob Reiner's best known to Brits as the man who made This Is Spinal Tap, the mockumentary film of a seminal British band traveling to America to break America. So again, transatlantic links all the way.
That's what we're going for, Steve. So I'm happy to hear that. So and concluding with, you know, our various moving towards our fireside chats on Wednesday, we'll have BIO board member John Maragnori and various other speakers throughout that will be discussing scintillating conversations there. And of course, Wednesday is our big day with, Motown icon, right? On Wednesday, Diana Ross, also extremely global, my personal fan of her music. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's at the Convention Center. Now on Thursday, not to be outdone, so we still have our partnering open, so we're still trying to hit that world record, so we would recommend for your folks' businesses to continue to partner on Thursday as partnering is still open. Attend our fireside chat with FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, that will be at 9 a.m., and of course our History Makers Happy Hour at 1:45 to 2:45 that Steve highlighted earlier. So now just for kind of specifics of moving past the schedule, so there are different opportunities to engage with various startups and small and medium-sized companies, and I'll just skim over this pretty quickly, but we have our Startup Stadium, which you'll be able to see kind of quick 15-minute pitches from startup companies seeking feedback and seeking investment opportunities. So if that's something that's interesting to yourself, your companies, your portfolio, we encourage you to attend that. Moving towards the Emerging Innovator Zone on the next slide, this focuses on that second stage, so no longer startups, but small, medium-sized enterprises that are still seeking to showcase themselves, find investment, grow eventual VC, and their accelerators more broadly. New this year is the Academic Campus. And of course, we also have a global audience there. And given the richness of Boston's academic ecosystem, we're thrilled that many of them are participating. And so this is a partnering opportunity for universities, particularly in the tech transfer space, to partner there. So if you're interested in academics or collaboration, make sure you check that specific area out on the exhibition floor. Moving towards the next slide, many attendees are interested in various professional development. Oftentimes, of course, you'll engage in your partnering meetings, your education, but also individual professional development is something we want to cultivate at BIO. So we are offering a variety of business development courses, entrepreneurship boot camps, and various negotiation and strategy tactic courses throughout convention. So if that's something you're interested in, that requires a separate registration and is available on our convention site. Also new this year, talk about making history. So we are having a tour of the Massachusetts life science ecosystem. There are 10 guided tours throughout Massachusetts, particularly in the Boston and Cambridge area. For those of you who have not visited Boston yet, it is quite impressive how many incubator sites, labs from small to large size companies are present in the Cambridge-Boston area. And so this tour, as Steve mentioned before, has a separate registration, and there is a small fee of $35 to cover the transportation costs from the convention center to the various sites and back. But if that's something you're interested in exploring the Boston ecosystem, know that that's available for you. Moving towards the next slide, this is just a shout out to our sponsors. And so in terms of planning your event on the next slide, you'll be able to manage your time at BIO through the MyBIO app. And so for those who may be new or already are BIO veterans, the MyBIO tool on browser and app is a way to organize your time, organize your meetings, take notes within the tool on specific sessions. I often like to use this tool to take photos of people's business cards and notify where I met them and keep a little brief note in that. And that tool allows you to do that as well and helps you sort of navigate and stay organized through BIO. So my final slide is just, to keep the conversation going. I know many of you are involved in social media for your companies. Many of you are involved in sharing your messaging at BIO. So these are just a few of our hashtags and our LinkedIn connections, so feel free to use these. And of course, at the end of the presentation or moving forward, if you have any questions, on the next slide is my contact information. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and I'd be happy to help. My role here is to help with the various international delegations that attend BIO, inclusive of the UK delegation. So please know that I'm here for you in that capacity.
Cara, that was brilliant, and you managed to do an immense amount of activity there in a really succinct way. I think Diana Ross should have you on stage. You're so fantastic out of this. So from that, I suggest we move on to talking about the small piece of Boston, Massachusetts that will feel like home to Brits for the few days that it's there, the UK Pavilion. Chris, you're going to tell us about it from DIT.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everybody. It's been no small feat this year to organise it. We have a bigger pavilion this year than last year, with 2,000 square feet, with UK and Northern Ireland companies showcasing on the pavilion itself. The theme for this year is celebrating 70 years of the NHS, and we're kindly supported, pulling all this together, by colleagues from Bray Leno, and Brett Hanna is on the line as well. And Bray Leno will be present during the event just to support with any logistics and anything's ongoing. So I thought it would be quite nice to have a look about what the digital render of our pavilion will look like. So on the previous slides, there was a map of the convention hall. So as you walk in, you will be presented with the UK reception, and the companies will sit all around the outside, and the centre then, if you click onto the next slide, will showcase where all the meeting areas are. We've allocated 7 meeting areas altogether. 4 of those have been allocated to the partnering for the on-stand partnering, which has been quite successful over the previous years. And bookings to use the other desks will be managed on the reception area by Hannah and her colleagues, and probably myself as well. As I mentioned earlier, we're pleased this year to have Northern Ireland on board with us. They're bringing 5 companies out, so that gives 16 pods, a mix of companies and partners that will be showcasing this year. We'll be having 2 large screens on the reception area that will be showcasing some media around the companies, and also some of the videos that have already been produced for celebrating the success of the NHS over the last 70 years, and including some of the key inventions that have made such a difference to healthcare around the world. We're also producing an on-stand brochure that will showcase these companies, in addition to other companies that are also joining the UK delegation for the 4 days of the event. What's key this year, quite a unique feature, is that not only is the whole, you can walk around the whole pavilion fully great branded, but you can view it from above as well. So when you look at the convention hall floor from above, we literally do have a walkway that joins the upper floors, and you can look down into the pavilion as well as walk around it. So that's quite unique for this year, and that's due to the layout of the Boston Convention Hall as well. As Stephen mentioned, we do have Baroness Fairhead coming out this year to support the event, and we're just pulling her VIP schedule together for the time that she's there. And the next slide then, it just goes on about the companies that are showcasing. These are from all over the UK and Northern Ireland. There's some new companies on here that haven't been before, and it's really good that we'll be hosting them this year. And we will, as I said, be producing a brochure which gives background information to these companies as well. But it is one of the biggest events we've done, and it's really a real pleasure to have this many people showcasing on our pavilion. 16 is a big number, something we've not done for a long time. So thanks everyone for all the hard work, and plus those people that are coming, getting all their information in on time, because it's, as you can realize, it's no small feat getting all the information and artwork together to get it across to the US colleagues for printing. The next slide then just talks about our reception. So Steve's already touched on this. So on Tuesday, the 5th of June from 5 o'clock, we have an on-stand reception at the pavilion. This really just pulls together the whole theme of the event, which is about the NHS and celebrating the success and the fact that it's been going for 70 years. It's an informal gathering supported by Invest Northern Ireland, Northern Powerhouse and Midlands Engine, or Midlands UK. There will be flyers, so if people are coming out and you want to invite colleagues to come along and join that, then please feel free. There will be a selection of traditional English drinks available, including some snacks and food as well that are pertinent to the specific areas of those that are sponsoring the event.
Can you give away what's coming from Northern Ireland? I'm intrigued.
Well, there's that well-known beer called Harp or Guinness coming across. But additionally, Steve, as well, Wales are actually showing at the event too. They came very late in the day in the planning, and they are very close to the Scotland and UK Northern Ireland Pavilion. So they are all in the same vicinity. And they will all be joining us for the reception on the Tuesday evening.
Fantastic.
And I think that covers everything that we've got going on in terms of from the UK side.
Chris, that's really helpful, and I think you can understand why I explained that there's both partnering happens in the partnering area, the business forum in the sort of the grey concrete, grey carpeted booths where many people spend some of their time, but it also happens on the stand, and those portions of the bio convention are open at slightly different times, and it's important if you're not only presenting on the stand, but you are going to the partnering. I'm sure it all counts towards the Guinness World of Records. Even drinking a Guinness probably counts towards the Guinness World Record attempt. But I think for people who are attending, understanding the geography between those two is very, very important. And it's great to see you've got such a fantastic group showcasing and organised well in advance this year, which is great stuff. Now, I hope that Tori will be able to take us through a welcome to Boston. Tori, you're based there, so you know on the ground what we should be doing. Over to you.
Yes, thanks so much, Steve. So here in Boston, we are absolutely thrilled to be hosting BIO. It's my first BIO in Boston, been at the last two, so we're really excited. So here's just a map of, I think a lot of people have been to Boston, especially compared to San Diego last year or even San Francisco the year before. So this might be familiar territory to some of you. But you can see here's a map of the city, and you can see this is where the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center is, where BIO will be held. In relation to the airport, and I'll go over transportation on the next slide, but just kind of a very brief overview of Boston. You probably have heard of some of the references in popular culture, such as the movie Good Will Hunting, The Departed. A lot of Martin Scorsese films are based in Boston. The Boston Tea Party, this is something that comes up all the time. Boris Johnson was here last January, not this one, the year before, and we had a good laugh. And I say Matt Damon, his mother's personally my next door neighbor, and a lot of people kind of ask about kind of the famous people here. Some of the sports teams in Boston, the NFL, so that's football, not soccer. We call your football soccer, but this is actually American football. We have the Patriots, we have the National Hockey League, the Bruins, who are out now, sadly for some people, and the Celtics, who are still going strong. Then I missed the Red Sox, which is the baseball team, and some of you, I think, might be going to a game while you're here, so that will be really exciting. And so one of the things that Boston is really known for is being, well, I said smart here, that's making fun of a Bostonian accent. I'm not personally from Boston. I don't actually think anyone on the local team here is actually from Boston. So it's quite possible you won't actually hear a Bostonian accent while you're here. But some of the top universities in the world are in Boston, and I just listed a few here. There are many, many more. It's a very smart area, and it's a very strong academic powerhouse, and it really makes sense to have this as one of the places where BIO is hosted. Next slide, please. So just some quick kind of logistics when you're going from the airport. The airport is really close to the center of town, as you can see kind of from the minute markers here. So if you wanted to get a rideshare service, Uber and Lyft are probably your two best bets. You're looking at about a 17-minute drive solidly. It could be even faster than that with no traffic to get to the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center, where BIO will be hosted. If you wanted to take the T, we have the Silver Line. It's only 2 stops on the Silver Line, and it's actually free. So it depends where your accommodation is, but that might make sense. An important note that we go through every year for incoming international delegations is to please download your rideshare apps before arriving in the US and kind of try and sort your data situation. Boston Logan does have free Wi-Fi, but you can't really rely on it to download heavy apps, etc. And then I have a picture here of what the rideshare app looks like. I think this is probably what most people will be doing. So as soon as you get off the plane, look for the picture that says AppRide/TNC, and you'll have to go to a designated area. Each airport in the US kind of has different rules, and Boston has decided to kind of rope off designated areas for Uber and Lyft drivers.
So Tori, as someone who is used to taking the tube, or the T as you would call it in Boston, what does TNC stand for? I don't know that expression. What is it? What's it?
I think it's just the train. I think it's just the train.
No, but the TNC is in AppRide TNC. What's TNC?
Oh, TNC. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Answers on a postcard, please. Doesn't matter. Well, I think we get the idea. If we're following Lyft or Uber, we just go and follow the purple picture of an iPhone.
It means Transportation Network Company.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I think the phrase that we actually really use, like as humans, not signage, is rideshare services. Yeah. That's an interesting one, but if you see it, now you know what it stands for. So keep an eye out. And were there any other questions about transportation and getting around?
Where do you think most people, if they're going to the convention center, most of their hotels will be in town? Do you want to go back to the picture before? Because obviously airport's out on East Boston side, where it says Boston on this map is downtown, over the river, sort of where it says 93, I think of as being Cambridge, and up towards Cambridge and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Are most people going to likely stay south in South Boston near the convention center, do you think?
I think if you are lucky, and I do mean extremely lucky, then you are staying in the Seaport District, which is kind of near the waterfront, which is right where where BCEC is. Some of those, I think for our own room blocks, for our own team, we didn't get those hotels in time. So I think a lot of our people are staying kind of in Boston proper, so in the downtown area or what we call the Back Bay area. And so if you're looking at the map, that's pretty much directly where it says Boston. And so below it, you'll see a big park called the Boston Common, and it's kind of in that area, and between where BCEC is circled. I think that's where most of our people are staying. I think if you're extremely lucky, you'll be staying farther south, close to BCEC. And then the northern part, you see the river, where the river divides things. That's the divide between Boston and Cambridge. So Cambridge is to the north. And there's actually a little blue circle there, which is actually where my location tab when I cut this map, and that's where the British consulate is. So hopefully you won't have any reason to come here. No emergencies will take place. We'll distribute necessary information in case something happens. But it's an area of town. We're right next to MIT. You're free to come here. It's really nice, but it's not really not a lot's happening here during bio, with a few exceptions.
Thank you.
No problem. And then a few other places in Boston. I think we're planning on doing our welcome drinks in the Faneuil Hall area, and I'll circulate information for that. And so this is just some kind of nitty-gritty.
That's Sunday evening, you're thinking? We'll
go
to.
Yes, and so this is kind of a tradition every year. It started kind of with the DIT staff coming from across the U.S. and from London, and then it kind of ballooned to include the people supporting the UK Pavilion, and now it's quite honestly, if you've got nothing better to do, you're free to come meet everyone informally. It's all cash bar, it's very informal, and it's just an opportunity for people to meet informally. And I'll send the details for that through. It's going to be in the Faneuil Hall area. It's a very, very attractive kind of touristy part of the city. And so it's an opportunity to kind of branch out to other parts of the city other than Seaport. And then I talked about Cambridge already. That's where we are right now at the British consulate. That's where MIT is, where Harvard is. A lot of academic power and superstars residing in this area. It's not really part of the agenda for bio unless you're doing one of the fantastic Massachusetts ecosystem tours, which hopefully people are. But it's something that if you have extra time, it's worthwhile to explore.
Tori, that's it. Thank you. Really helpful. Thank you. And I'm sure lots of people will look forward to to seeing you in the on the informal Sunday drinks, which is a great opportunity to get together. And thank you for giving us orientation. I hope nobody has to come and find you for lost passports or such like at the consulate. A couple of final slides, and it's a shame that Lynn isn't able to join us from BioPartner, but BioPartner do a good job in putting together the partnership for companies that are going to Bio. I know that they've been able to organise for all of us discounts for UK-based companies, and thank you very much, Lynn, for doing that. And I know that TAP-funded companies at Bio are featured in an online directory alongside networking activities and a full list of attending companies. It's not just the ones that are on the stand, but everybody who's gone through this system is on the BioPartner website. There is one discount code still available, we believe. I haven't spoken to Lynn in the last hour, so if you're keen to go and you've not yet organised to go, one available through Lynn. This is her website address. I think with that, I'm going to say thank you very much. I will quickly see if there's any questions from anybody, which I don't think there are. I wish you a great weekend. I hope that's been of use, and look forward to seeing you. This will go onto YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you in Boston. Many thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.